So, ladies, Wild Honey Band is here. We have Laura, Jessica, and Shelby. Hi.
Hi, Lesley.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my goodness, listen to these voices. So, okay. I would love for you all to introduce yourselves. So we'll just start. I got Shelby on the screen now. We'll start with Shelby. Tell us who you are. Like, what do you play? How'd you get here? And then we'll just go through the whole band.
Wow. Okay. How'd I get here? Give me an hour. At least. Well, my name's Shelby, and I'm okay. I got to tell you a little bit first because this is kind of interesting. Laura is my sister. So Laura married my brother, and Jess married the guy that I grew up next door to.
Stop it right now.
Yes.
Stop.
So we're
Who's my husband's best friend.
Yes.
This is amazing. Oh my gosh.
So that is just to sort of start with where we all got together. But I grew up in Cranbrook, a small town in Canada, and I kind of went into the science stuff. I was always like a nerdy science person. And when I had my first daughter, first of two, I sort of had this like epiphany of kind of wanting to do something artistic. And it started with writing. So I kind of became a writer then, and I've been writing ever since. But when the girls came into my life through the boys, because I grew up with 8 boys on the street.
Wow.
And yeah, so I was definitely like a tomboy, kind of like always trying to prove I was tough. And then I had my first baby, and then you realize like all the emotions come spilling out. So that happened. So I started writing, and then I was definitely like searching for, I think, friendships that were sort of deeper and where I could be more myself, and I could be wrong and be failing and be struggling, and that would be okay. And then the girls, kind of married into this boyhood that I was a part of. And we very quickly realized that because we had all these kids, there's 8 daughters between the 3 of us.
You all have only girls?
Only girls.
And there's 8
only girls.
Wow.
Yes, and all of our husbands were like, what the hell happened? But yes, we have 8 girls. And so we just needed a reason. We felt like we were like always like, oh, we'll get together, and then it's blow that off.
Yeah.
It's so easy to be like, oh, I can't because I've got to drive here and this is going on. So we decided we needed like a real reason and something that would make us show up. And that's where the band came from. So that's sort of how I got here. I'm still a writer. I've published a novel, and I've got another one on the go here. And but for the band, that's sort of where the band started 9 years ago, and we're still going strong.
That is amazing. Okay, so Laura, I want you to pick it up. Tell everyone who you are, but also let's make sure we put a pin and come back to that, where women tend to do the whole, oh yeah, let's hang out, and then we don't, right? Wait, we're going to come back to that. So Laura, tell us everything.
So hello, I'm Laura, and I am the violin player in the band. And it's funny because I still, when that rolls out of my mouth, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Because when I started with this band, I had been playing an instrument, like period, in my life for about 3 months. And it was the violin.
You've been playing only for 3 months. You're like, at some point, you're like, I'm going to play the violin. I'm taking violin lessons.
Yeah. And usually you wouldn't start with the violin, but ignorance is bliss. And I rolled with it. And it was a bit of a convoluted way. I've always wanted to be a violin player. And so I signed up my daughter at the time because I'm just going to live vicariously through her. And I was sitting at her violin lessons. It was this sort of group lesson, and all us parents were sitting in the back row, like against the wall, and the kids were all playing. I'm like, why am I just sitting here? Like, I want to play the violin. So I went down to the music store here in our little town and bought this cheap adult-sized violin and brought it to our next, children's fiddle lesson and pulled my chair forward from all the rest of the parents far enough so I couldn't see their looks. Cause I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this. And I just started to play along because I'm like, this is what I want to do. So that's how I started. And 3 months later, like, well, I could be in a band. I could like,
oh,
kind of a bad idea, but a wonderful idea at the same time. So,
well, obviously you're listening to your brain and your body, like you're being called into that, and to like, to take a seat away from where the parents are, like that is like, oh my gosh, scary and out of the comfort zone for everyone. I was listening to a podcast today, and this woman was like, I'm doing adult tap lessons. She's like, it was just like 3 ladies and a 14-year-old whose mother just sat in the room. And I was like, why didn't mom, it's an adult tap class. Why didn't mom? Like, but it's true because I think sometimes we think, oh, this is for them. And really you're like, I want to be doing, thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.